A student's overview of the ageless wisdom was carefully compiled from the following books by Alice A. Bailey. A Treatise on Cosmic Fire. Esoteric Psychology, Volumes 1 and 2. Esoteric Healing. Esoteric Astrology. The Rays and the Initiations. Students are encouraged to download the free PDF version of this overview by following the link in the video's description, or to order a printed copy at cost from thebookpatch.com, but are advised to read the original, unabridged books in order to gain deeper insight into the ageless wisdom. Students are also invited to join our online study group at facebook.com/groups/students of the ageless wisdom. Chapter 18, A Treatise on Cosmic Fire. Incarnation and Karma. In the early stages, the initiatory impulse is heavy and slow, and the matter required for the sheaths is of a correspondingly low grade, that is, it is of low vibratory capacity, and the time elapsing between the first vibration outwards on the mental plane, and the coordination of the dense physical body is a long one. Later on, the vibration becomes more powerful and the effects therefore are more rapidly felt. At the close of evolution, when the human unit is upon the path and consciously controlling his destiny, and working off karma, the intervals intervening between two incarnations are brief or not as the man may choose in the interests of the work to be done, and according to his intention to achieve liberation from form. It must also be remembered that as the evolutionary process proceeds, the egoic activity calls out response not only from substance in the three worlds, but also from the formless levels of the system. The response will be felt finally on monadic levels. Then, after a moment of equilibrium, the effect of the rhythm is felt entirely on the higher planes, and leaves the lower. We might express it also in saying that the will aspect or initiatory impulse is primarily that which produces cause, which is cause itself. It should be remembered ever that cause involves the idea of duality, that which initiates, and that which is produced simultaneously by the initiation. The two ideas are inseparable, yet nevertheless the second idea in its most abstract connotation must not be considered literally as an effect. True effect involves a third idea. Some appreciation of the problem may be gleaned by a consideration of phenomena whichever involves this dual initiatory cause and its objective effect. Spirit matter in dual activity produces the objective universe. Electric fire and fire by friction when brought into contact produce solar fire. It flashes forth from darkness, yet a darkness which is potent with energy. Will desire is the cause of incarnation, the will to be reacting on substance, whose main quality is desire or responsiveness to sensation, produces the forms through which the central life or existence seeks expression. Ideas and thought matter together produce thought forms. The man begins to discriminate between the pairs of opposites, choosing ever in the early stages that which appeals most to his lower nature and that which he believes will bring him pleasure. The center of the attention of the ego is the astral body, and it becomes so closely coordinated with the physical body that the two form one united expression of desire. The mental body remains comparatively inactive at this stage. The love nature of the ego is in process of being developed, and this stage is the longest of the three. End of page 84. It deals with the evolution of the petals of the egoic lotus, and with the blending of solar fire and of fire by friction. Reflex action between the lower and the higher during this middle period produces three effects, which will be seen, if carefully studied, to convey much information anent the working out of the law of karma. These three effects are: 1. The development of the astral permanent atom with a concurrent stimulation of the physical permanent atom, and thus the growth and evolution of the two sheaths concerned. 2. The coordination of the threefold man through the innate vitality of the astral body and its effect upon the mental and the physical. This is the karma manasic period, and as this body is the only complete sphere in the threefold lower man, it is the most powerful body inherently, for it embodies, as does the solar system, the heart aspect, or embryonic love nature, which it is the object of macrocosmic and microcosmic evolution to develop. 3. Finally, the unfoldment of the 9 egoic petals in 3 stages. In the working out of the law we must therefore note that man is first of all the victim of the impulses of dense substance or of the Brahma aspect, and thus repeats rapidly the evolutionary process of the preceding solar system. In the second stage he is the victim of desire, or of his own love nature. In the third stage, the law of karma works through a man's mental nature, and awakens in him recognition of the law, and an intellectual apprehension of cause and of effect. This is the shortest stage but is also the most powerful. It concerns the evolution of the 3 inner petals shielding the jewel and their ability to disclose at the right moment that which lies hidden. It covers the period of the evolution of advanced man, and of the man upon the path. In connection with the human family it covers the first half of the next round, prior to the great separation. Electric fire is beginning to make its radiations felt, and the will or purpose of the ego is now consciously realized upon the physical plane. The 3 permanent atoms form a triangle of light, and the petals of the lotus are rapidly unfolding. Building the causal body. We have studied somewhat the constitution of the triangles, or Treatise, who, through self-sacrifice, endow man with self-consciousness, building his egoic vehicle out of their own essence. We have touched briefly upon the lunar Treatise, who endow man with his lower sheaths and principles through which the energy of the solar lords may make itself felt, and we shall now proceed to study 3 things. First, the effect of the higher energy upon the lower bodies, as it gradually makes itself felt during the evolutionary process, and thus simultaneously redeems man in an occult sense, and also elevates the lunar Treatise. Second, the effect of this energy on the mental plane in the development and unfoldment of the egoic lotus. Third, the awakening to activity of the central life within the lotus. This activity demonstrates in a twofold manner. 1. As the realization by the man on the physical plane within the physical brain of his divine nature, resulting in a consequent demonstration of divinity upon earth, prior to liberation. 2. As the conscious activity of the individual ego on the mental plane in cooperation with its group or groups. It should be kept in mind that man is in essence divine. This has ever been enunciated throughout the ages, but remains as yet a beautiful theory or belief, and not a proven scientific fact, nor is it universally held. 2. Man is in fact a fragment of the universal mind, or world soul, and as a fragment is thus partaker of the instincts and quality of that soul, as it manifests through the human family. 3. Man in his lower nature, and in his three vehicles, is an aggregate of lesser lives, dependent upon him. For their group nature, for their type of activity, and collective response, and who, through the energy or activity of the Solar Lord, will themselves later be raised, and developed to the human stage. End of page 85. Evolution of the egoic lotus. The evolution of the petals. The body of the ego may be viewed in the following four ways. 1. As 9 vibrations, emanating from a central point, which, in its pulsation or radiations produces 3 major vibrations of great force pursuing a circular activity around the center. The 9 vibrations pursue a diagonal path until they reach the periphery of the egoic sphere of influence. At this point they swing around, thus forming the well-known spheroidal form of the causal body. 2. As 9 petals of a lotus, radiating from a common center, and hiding within themselves 3 central petals, which conceal a central point of fire. The radiations from the tip of each petal are those which cause the illusion of a spheroidal shape. 3. As 9 spokes of a wheel, converging towards a central hub, which is in itself threefold, and which hides the central energy or dynamo of force, the generator of all the activity. 4. As 9 types of energy which produce definite emanations from a threefold unit, again itself an outgoing from a central unit of force. I. The outer knowledge triad. 1. Petal 1, knowledge on the physical plane. Colors, orange, green and violet. 2. Petal 2, love on the physical plane. Colors, orange, rose and blue. 3. Petal 3, sacrifice on the physical plane. Colors, orange, yellow and indigo. 2. The middle love triad. 1. Petal 1, higher knowledge applied through love on the physical and astral planes. Colors, rose, and the original 3. 2. Petal 2, higher intelligent love on the physical and astral planes. Colors, rose and the corresponding 3. 3. Petal 3, loving intelligent sacrifice on the physical and astral planes. Colors, rose and the same 3. 3. The inner sacrificial triad. 1. Petal 1, the will to sacrifice through knowledge on the mental plane, and thus intelligently to dominate the entire threefold lower man. Colors, yellow and the 4 colors, orange, green, violet and rose. 2. Petal 2, the will to sacrifice through love on the mental plane, and thus to serve. Colors, yellow and the 4 colors, orange, violet, rose and blue. 3. Petal 3, the utter sacrifice of all forever. Colors, yellow, orange, rose, blue and indigo. Man 777 incarnations. First. The 700 incarnations. These concern the unfoldment of the outer circle. This is the longest period. The initial vibration is slow and heavy, and millennia of lives have to elapse before the interchange of energy between the ego and its reflection, the personal self, the lower threefold man, is such that the consciousness of the man occultly awakens in the hall of learning. For advanced man at this time these incarnations took place upon the moon chain and in some cases upon certain planets connected with the inner round. This is the circumstance which necessitated his coming in during the Atlantean root race. Men of this type refused to incarnate earlier, as the bodies were too coarse. This was the cyclic reflection, on the lowest plane, of the refusal of the monads to incarnate at the dawn of manvantaric opportunity. No real sin was committed, it was their privilege to discriminate, and this refusal has its bearing upon conditions upon earth, being the basis of the great class distinctions which, in every land, have been so fruitful of trouble and the esoteric foundation of the caste system. End of page 86. Second, the 70 incarnations. These concern the unfoldment of the middle circle. Much may be learned from a consideration of the occult significance involved in the sending out of their followers by any initiate, such as the Christ, in groups of 70, going 2 and 2. These 70 incarnations primarily affect the development of love in the personal life, the evolution of the astral nature, based on the recognition of the pairs of opposites, and their equilibrizing in love and service. This cycle covers the period passed by the man in the hall of learning. Third, the 7 incarnations. These are those passed upon the probationary path. This is an interesting period in which certain things are affected which might be described in the following terms. The 2 outer rings of petals are stimulated in a new and special sense through the conscious act of the probationary disciple. Much of the work hitherto has been pursued under the ordinary laws of evolution and has been unconscious. Now all that changes as the mental body becomes active, and 2 of the will petals are coordinated, and 1 awakes vitality and unfolds. The fire or energy from these 2 rings begins to circulate along the atomic triangle, and when this is the case it marks a very momentous epoch. A dual work has been consummated in the personal lower life and in the egoic. A. The permanent atoms have the 4 lower spiralae fully active, 2 groups of 2 each, and the 5th is in process of arousement into equal activity. B. The triangle is in circulatory action but has not yet achieved its full brightness nor its rotary or 4th dimensional revolution. C. The 2 circles of petals are awake, one being wide open and the other on the verge of opening. At the termination of the 777 incarnations, a man passes through the door of initiation and enters upon a brief synthesizing process, or a final period in which he garners the fruits of the experience in the 2 first halls, and transmutes knowledge into wisdom, transforms the shadow of things seen into the energy of that which is, and achieves the final liberation from all the lower forms which seek to hold him prisoner. By the time the 3rd initiation is taken, the inner circle of petals is opened and the full-blown lotus in all its beauty can be seen. At the 4th initiation the inner bud bursts open through the effect of the electrical force of the rod, which brings in the power of the synthetic ray of the solar system itself. The inner jewel is thus revealed. The work has been accomplished. The energy resident in the permanent atoms has vitalized all the spiralae, whilst the perfected force of the lotus and the dynamic will of the central spark are brought into full and united activity. This brings about a 3-fold display of vital force which causes the disintegration of the form and the following results. The permanent atoms become radioactive, and their ring pass not is therefore no longer a barrier to the lesser units within. The electronic lives in their various groups escape, and return to the eternal reservoir. They form substance of a very high order, and will produce the forms of those existences who, in another cycle, will seek vehicles. The petals are destroyed by the action of fire, and the multiplicity of devil lives which form them and give to them their coherence and quality are gathered back by the solar Treatise of the highest order into the heart of the sun. They will be directed outward again in another solar system. The atomic substance will be used for another Manvantara, but the solar Treatise will not again be called upon to sacrifice themselves until the next solar system, when they will come in as planetary rays, thus repeating upon monadic levels in the next system what they have done in this. They will then be the planetary Logo. The central life electric returns to its source, escaping out of prison and functioning as a center of energy on planes of cosmic etheric energy. End of page 87. The lives and their goals. Lives goal. 1. Planetary Logo, the major 3. Cosmic liberation, the final cosmic initiations. 2. The minor 4 planetary Logo. Cosmic initiation, or the first 4 initiations. 3. The informing lives of a planetary globe. Manus of a cosmic chain. Not a seed manu, but a periodical manu of lesser degree. This involves an unrevealable mystery, connected with certain hierarchies of color. 4. The informing life of a kingdom in nature. Transference in one of 3 directions. A. To the line of the solar Treatise. B. To Sirius, as a karmic adjuster. C. To the solar system of the next order to work in connection with the planetary logos of his own line as ruler of a kingdom or life wave in the system, and not just in a scheme. 5. The solar Treatise. The highest 3 groups will become major planetary Logo, the lower 4 groups will become minor planetary Logo. 6. The human evolution. To become the solar Treatise of another cycle. To follow any of the paths earlier enumerated. Those who become solar Treatise, being the bulk of humanity, return to Sirius to be breathed out again into activity. 7. The lunar Treatise to become men. They will in their higher grades pass directly into the animal evolution of the next cycle and so eventually individualize. Their 3 higher grades will become animal men, and the lower 4 will contribute to the quaternic forms of the men of the next creation. 8. The animal evolution human kingdom. 9. The vegetable evolution the animal kingdom. 10. The mineral evolution the vegetable kingdom. 11. The 4 higher grades of lesser builders on all planes. They will form the manifested double or form of that mysterious third evolution of the next system, that is, the etheric body of the planetary entity. This mysterious life is as yet an unfathomable mystery and one which will not be revealed till the final one of the triplicity of solar systems of our solar logos. 12. The 3 lower grades of the lesser builders the physical body in its densest form of the planetary entity. End of chapter 18.